So I just got back from the Australian Embassy with these two documents today in Argentina. My birth certificate and my police check look a little bit different. So today I'm going to be sharing what happened today in my journey to renounce my Australian citizenship. I'm going to explain why I'm choosing to get an Argentinian citizenship because lots of people want to know, Luke, why are you choosing to try to get an Argentinian citizenship? So I'm going to be explaining the reasons why, and I'm also going to be showing you guys what the embassy looks like from the inside. I'm not even 100% sure that we were allowed to get that video, so I apologize in advance if I get in trouble for that. I was only told about that after the fact, but we're going to show you what an embassy looks like on the inside, and I'm going to be showing you Argentina's passport rank. So let's begin at the very beginning of this story. Why am I giving up my Australian passport and why am I trying to get an Argentinian passport? Well, the first reason for why I'm trying to get an Argentinian passport is because I'm a tight ass. I don't want to sell a lot of my savings and I am a digital nomad on a budget, okay? And the Argentinian citizenship is actually free. You don't need to pay anything to get an Argentinian citizenship. And this is very different from a lot of the other passport programs in the world. Most people know that you can buy a home in Turkey for over $400,000. I think that might actually just got increased to $500,000. And you can get a Turkish citizenship in a handful of months. You can do a similar thing with a lot of these Caribbean islands, Barbuda, Antigua. There's like 6 different Caribbean islands that you can buy a passport in. These are called citizenship by donation. And right now, these are costing somewhere around 125,000 to 250,000. But in Argentina, you can get a passport. You can become a citizen there just by living in the country for 2 years. And the really cool thing about Argentina is you don't actually have to be there for the 2 years continuously. You only have to spend 180 days or 6 months of each year in the country. And you don't need to be there continuously. So, for example, I was in Argentina for about 2 months before Christmas last year. I went to El Salvador, and now I'm back in Argentina for another month. And I only have to be in Argentina for another 3 months before October to have 180 days in the rolling calendar year that I've been in the country of Argentina. So it's relatively cheap. You only need to pay a few $1,000s to some experts in the space to help you with the paperwork, help pay the lawyer's fees, and then you can apply for citizenship at the end of that 2-year period. And as I am aware, that is the fastest citizenship program there is in the world when you're just going through this naturalization progress, okay? There are other ways to get passports. We mentioned the passports you can get by investment. Another alternative way that Pam and myself both have our eyes on is you can get passports via something called birth tourism. So if you go and have a baby in a country like Brazil or Costa Rica or Mexico, what's going to happen is your baby is going to be born with that citizenship. So in our example, if Pam and I were to ever have a baby and we had it in Brazil, that baby would get an Australian citizenship, an El Salvadorian passport, and a Brazilian passport. And I believe, I haven't looked into this very deeply, but Pam and myself would also get residency in Brazil, and we would get a fast-tracked we would get the fast-tracked option to also be able to apply for Brazilian citizenship ourselves on an expedited timeline because we just simply have a baby in that country. So there's lots of different ways to get passports. But out of the naturalization way, an Argentinian citizenship is the fastest to get. So that is why today I got my birth certificate and I got my police check apostilled at the Australian Embassy. So these are some of the things that you have to have in order to first get your 2-year temporary residency in Argentina. And at the end of those 2 years, we will see what happens. I'm going to apply for citizenship, and the case will go in front of the judges, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see whether I get a citizenship or not. So there are other ways. There is also, I've heard of people who literally don't go through any of this process. They don't bother getting the residency. They just live in Argentina for 2 years. They break the law. They say, look, I don't care about all these visas. I don't care about the fact that you only have a 3-month tourist visa in the country. I'm just going to live here for 2 years, and I'm going to be Argentinian. And then they apply for citizenship at the end of the 2 years, and they get it. I know people who've done it and who are doing it. Obviously, I prefer to follow the law in every single aspect of my life, and obviously go through the correct pathways, pay my taxes, and get all of the residency processes, which is why I have the official looking documents with me today. But again, just shared that story to let you guys know that Argentina is a very welcoming country. You just come here for 2 years and you can apply for citizenship, and you can get it if you prove that you have ties to the country in one way. They are very welcoming here in Argentina. So that's another reason why I am very interested in the Argentinian citizenship. Another reason why I'm very interested in the Argentinian citizenship is because it's one of the better passports in the world. Okay. So again, it's not the best. There are better passports. But as you can see here by this little website, this is called Passport Index, something I use a lot as a nomad. Argentina has a passport power rank of 13. So no, that does not mean it's the 13th best passport, but it's pretty good. Okay, as you can see, there's only about 15 to 20 countries with better passports and better mobility ranks than Argentina. So the Argentinian citizenship, as you can see by this little map, it can get you in lots of places around the world. So all of the green places are countries that you can just catch a plane to and literally just essentially walk in and get a tourist visa. You don't need to do any online mucking around or applications. You're entitled to an e-visa. So there's a lot of countries there that are green on that map, showing you that Argentinians can get a visa very easily. They can just walk in and, Bob's your uncle, welcome. Come and enjoy a tourist visa. So there are a lot of good things to having an Argentinian citizenship. Okay, this here is what the embassy looks like. You can see they've got the scanners. I was a little bit confronted. I didn't think that they'd have the big airport scanners there, but it's a very professional kind of building, and they're obviously like to be very safe, I suppose. There's a lot of security, and they were very surprised that we just arrived this afternoon. You're supposed to apparently have an appointment to get these documents apostled, but as you guys will know, I'm not an appointment kind of guy. I just rock up with my papers and say, hey, can you apostle them? And they did. They were very, very friendly, very, very helpful, helping us with everything we're supposed to do. And I would recommend you guys, if you're going to do the same, definitely book an appointment. We were unaware. We didn't know you had to book an appointment, to be honest. We just rocked up and thought, hey, it's just an apostle. They're just going to sign something on my birth certificate and validate it's true. There's a lot more to it than that. So again, if you are doing something similar, book an appointment. As McLovin says, Luke says, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's get it done. That's what I thought. I thought it'd just be a 5-minute thing. Okay, so another great question by Orange You Work. What about the Spanish fluency? So yes, if I'm going to naturalize as an Argentinian citizenship, I do need to be fluent in Spanish, meaning that yo necesito aprender más español. That's Spanish for I need to learn more Spanish. So let's have a look. McLovin also says, what are the risks with the 2-year plan? So biggest risks is I don't get the citizenship. I don't know the downsides. I honestly haven't looked into it very deeply. Worst case scenario for me, I spend $2,000 on fees and lawyers' fees and a little bit of time mucking around with the paperwork, but I'm not spending a lot of time on the paperwork myself. I'm paying someone to help me with that. And I could get rejected for citizenship. So that is also why I kind of like this idea, because for me, I wouldn't like to pay a government $125,000 for a passport for them to just change the rules, or, something to go bad and maybe I don't get it. Like, I don't trust governments. And for me, I'm not in a position to be risking 120K on maybe getting a passport. So that's what could go wrong. Great question there, McLovin. Yeah, so apparently Pam's giving me shit in the chat. I need to learn Spanish. My Spanish is muy bueno. Muchas gracias, mi novia. My Spanish needs a lot of work. It's terrible, guys. So that is a few of the reasons why I'm considering getting an Argentinian citizenship. I think every Bitcoiner should consider getting a second citizenship. Again, like we discussed today, there are lots of options. So just trying to read the live chat. Sorry. There are lots of options for second citizenships depending upon what circumstance you are in. I am a tight ass. That's why I'm choosing. That's one of the reasons why I'm choosing the Argentinian citizenship. But to be honest with you guys, even if I had $10 million worth of Bitcoin, I think I would probably still choose to do the Argentinian citizenship. Well, actually, I like the Turkish option. For $400,000, you can get some real estate. And I believe you only have to hold the real estate for 5 years. And then I think you can sell it. Don't quote me on that. But I like the Turkish option. But I mean, I wouldn't be putting more than 10% of my net worth in, Turkish real estate, where I have to trust the government, put it in a bank. So again, unless you've got more than $4 million worth of net worth, I'm not sure it's entirely worth going out there and buying Turkish property. We also actually, Pam has the $1 million El Salvador freedom visa. I might get her. Oh, there you go. She has it. She's prepared. So as you can see, that's another passport option that you guys could get. You can pay $1 million. You can get an El Salvador passport, and you can get that really quick, 2 to 3 weeks. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's expensive, but you can get that passport a lot quicker than I believe you can get those Caribbean passports. So again, I've got no dog in the fight, just trying to give you guys all of the details and information that I know. But you can get those Caribbean passports in about, I think it's like a 3 to 6 month kind of window. So there's great Bitcoiners who actually help you get those passports too. So check out Plan B Passports, and there's a few other guys on Twitter that help you with it. My Latin Life is another great person in the nomading space who can help you with the passports. So if you're interested by any of these things, feel free to reach out and I'll help you guys out with anything you need. But lots of options. I hope that video explains why I'm choosing the Argentinian citizenship. Here's a little trick for you guys. And I haven't seen many people talk about this, but if you have a Latin American passport, you can then, there's a loophole for you to actually be able to get the El Salvadorian passport in only 1 year. So if I want the El Salvadorian passport, to my knowledge right now, I believe I have to be a resident for 5 years in El Salvador. I also think that they're a lot more stricter with their timelines. So I think I actually have to spend 9 months per year in El Salvador for 5 years straight, as opposed to the 6 months you need to show in Argentina. Again, I'm not 100% sure of that. That's just what I think. And then I could apply for the El Salvador citizenship after living there for 5 years. But if you have that's the normal process for someone like myself. But if you have a Latin American passport already, I have heard that there is a loophole that lets you enable to actually apply for your El Salvadorian passport after only 1 year instead of 5. So again, this is kind of in my plans. Right now, I haven't had the time to look into it as deeply as I would like, but that's what I'm going to do personally. I'm going to hopefully try and get the Argentinian passport. If I'm lucky enough and successful enough to get that Argentinian passport in around 18 months' time, I'm then going to try to maybe live in El Salvador for 9 months straight and apply for that citizenship after 1 year. So that's my plans on what I'm doing. I know you guys have wanted to know exactly why I don't buy an El Salvadorian freedom passport or why I don't buy a passport in the Caribbean. Why is Luke choosing to get an Argentinian passport and subject himself to live in the cold? Right now it is freezing cold and I have been sick for about 2 or 3 weeks. And the reason for that being is because I want to get the Argentinian passport really bad. I think it's a really cool option. I think it's really cool that you can get it super cheaply. And I really love everything about the country here in Argentina. I love literally everything about the country. So hope that video explains what I'm doing in Argentina. Just want to check on the live chat before I run. My Spanish is super bad. I tried to once live in Spain for a couple of years. Unfortunately, my life was eaten up with work then. That's exactly my problem right now. Orange, your work. I have been meaning to learn a lot more Spanish, pero yo no tengo el tiempo. That is Spanish for I just don't have the time. I don't have the time. So I'm really trying to improve my Spanish right now as well, though. McLovin, I'm definitely going to research my options more. Options are always good to have. Couldn't agree more, McLovin, especially if the price of Bitcoin continues to go up. You know what they say. If number goes up, does its thing, I'm going to want some freedom go up, some FGU magic. So this is obviously what I am looking into. Okay, Orange has got a little bit of Spanish. That's cool. All Night Hider, San Diego native, and still my Spanish is terrible. Can't be as bad as mine, my friend. Mine's pretty average. Is that San Diego, Southern California, San Diego on the border of Mexico? I would love to know. I love that place in the world. San Diego's got some gorgeous sunsets. I was lucky enough to live close to there for about 9 months. Well, I didn't live. I holidayed in Southern California. I had a base there while I was doing a lot of nomading and traveling in America. Dan M's got a question. Is the new President Milei getting his objectives done? He is. So inflation's slowed down a lot in the country here in Argentina. It's nowhere near as bad as it was 6 months ago. I even saw an article a little while ago showing that Argentina's government has actually run a surplus for the first time in like a decade. And that's because he is getting rid of all of these useless government jobs here in the country in Argentina. So this is another thing kind of influencing my decision to want to spend so much time in Argentina over the next 2 years. I think Milei is going to be a net positive on the country. So he is getting a lot of his objectives done. 60,000 government workers have already been told, afuera, get out of here, which is incredible. Okay, he's only been in office for 6 months. So the country is certainly improving. And the steak is still very cheap. Maybe 20% more expensive than it was when we were here in November. I really think we were here at the country in the cheapest time ever that anybody will ever see in Argentina. We're getting like T-bone steaks from nice restaurants for $10. Maybe now they're 12 or 13. Slightly more expensive by maybe 20 or 30%, but still the cheapest in the world and best quality steak in the world. So there's a little update on what's happening with the state of things. Very interesting. Lots of tents. There's a homeless crisis everywhere in America, to be honest. Portland, oh my God, I went there in 2022. That was a shit show. So many tents and homeless people everywhere. I think everybody all around the world is struggling from the fiat system, all night hider. Very interesting. I haven't been to San Diego, California. I haven't been there for a couple of years now, but I'd love to check it out one day. Very easy to be vegan here as well. If that's your thing, it's still relatively easy to be here. It's just the steakhouses everywhere. It's the specialty food. So DJ, you're going to have to rewind and check out what happened. I explained what happened in the embassy earlier in the video, but I'll give you the TLDR. Got my birth certificate and my police check apostilled. So that's what those cool little stamps are. You can rewind the video and check out my explanation earlier. But with all that said, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. If you're new here, this is a relatively new YouTube channel where we're talking about all things to do with digital nomading and, best tips and tricks to save money traveling the world. So if any of that's interesting, feel free to subscribe, smash the like button on the video. All those little things helps a small and young and growing YouTube channel. So we get asked a lot about nomading tips and tricks. So we created this second spun up channel. So if you enjoy it, you can follow along in the journey. And with all that said, guys, I'm going to end this live stream here. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in, especially my man McLovin and All Night Hider. And we'll see you guys in the next live stream.